Welcome to Southwest Florida Real Estate Update, hosted by area realtor Jim York and York Real Estate Group of Downing Fry Realty. Our show will bring you the most up-to-date information about the local real estate market, featuring leading experts in the real estate field.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Southwest Florida Real Estate. I'm Michael York with the York Real Estate Group, and I'm joined today by our host Jim York and his guest Cindy Carrol of Carrol and Carrol Appraisers.
Thank you, Michael, for the introduction. Well, we're here today again with Cindy Carrol. And Cindy, why don't you just give us a little background about yourself?
Sure. I think something maybe a lot of people don't know is that I'm a fourth generation here in Collier County. Makes me kind of different than others. I'm a real estate appraiser. I appraise residential properties. My brother Ray Carrol and I are partners in the business of Carrol and Carrol. And we've been appraising in Collier County for over 30 years now.
Nice. And where are you located?
We are on South Horseshoe Drive, so we're just north of the Naples airport.
Well, Cindy, you know, I've had you on the show before, and I wanted to have you back to give us a little 6-month review of the market here in the Naples area.
Sure.
And I know you're well respected amongst the realtors in town and businesses and other appraisers, banks, etc. So we all put a heavy weight on your expertise.
No pressure then, right?
No, but it's the truth. It's the truth.
You.
So I'd like to, you know, we see a lot of new construction in the area.
Yes.
So I'd like you maybe just give us a little overview of what you're seeing, where the growth is, where people are building, maybe new developments, etc.
Never in my career as a real estate appraiser have I seen so much new construction growth. Even in the market cycle in 04 and 05, I don't think I saw this kind of expansive growth where we have all of these infill parcels being built out, and then other larger parcels close into town, you know, off of Airport, off of Livingston, building out. It's hard to get a handle on just what percentage of our market that new construction represents. But real estate appraiser professionals in town, brokers primarily, who have been studying this, think that it's representing 25 to 35% of all of their sales activity right now. That's really pretty substantial.
That's a lot. Yeah.
It's a lot, and it's amazing that we saw that new construction come online again back in 2012 after quite a long hiatus, and it has just continued strongly for the last 3 years.
Are you seeing in your appraisals people, the developers building a lot of spec homes, or are they doing it per contract to be built? What are you seeing there?
I have to tell you, I don't have a lot of experience appraising in the new developments. My impression is that early on, they may have been building out ahead quite a bit. I don't know that that's happening now. I think they're trying to keep a real balance on supply in terms of new construction, because nobody has a crystal ball.
Right.
We don't know how long the market cycle is going to be sustained. And I think that since we had single family home prices going up pretty strongly, they may have wanted to be holding back a little bit to be able to take advantage of that over time.
That's a good point. I'm seeing when I'm showing new construction a lot that I don't think there is a lot of inventory out there. There is some enough to, you know, for a buyer that wants to buy something immediate, but not an overabundance. I think they are being cautious. But I think you brought up a good point that maybe with the cycle of prices going up, they are holding back a little bit too. You know, the next question I'd like to ask you, how do you think the new construction inventory is going to affect the resale inventory?
I think it's been affecting the resale inventory for a while. One of the things that I'm monitoring is how our resale inventory is changing over time. And so in the last 12 months, we've had about a 2% decline in overall market inventory. So we're still under 5 months. But in the 12 months prior, I think we had about a 14% decline in overall inventory. So I think we're starting to see the market slow down a little bit. What's amazing is that we still see a decline in our resale market inventory in spite of the fact that we have so much new construction going on. And we need to step back and take a breath and realize the amount of demand that exists that keeps that equation going.
Right, right. In the overall inventory, what are you seeing? You know, what is a normal inventory level?
In my opinion, 1 year of supply, 12 months of supply in any given market area signals a balanced market, a balance of supply and demand. If we fall below 6 months of inventory, I think we have to see some pretty strong value increases. As that inventory creeps back up to say 8 months or 9 months, then that value increase starts to slow, and with the goal of returning back to historical long-term trends.
Okay. And are you seeing, or maybe you can't answer this question, I'm seeing in the MLS a lot of new construction by developments in MLS. Do you know if there's a percentage of that new construction that's MLS that's showing up as inventory versus resales?
I don't know what that relationship is, but I would agree with you that I often, in my research now, I'm seeing builder product being offered in the MLS. That may be a sign that of market stabilization, where the builder is now feeling that they need a little bit more exposure.
Right.
And so we're going to put stuff in the MLS that a couple of years ago we didn't didn't want to. And I think that that's one of the signs of the stabilizing residential market.
All right, that's the, you know, I'm glad I'm on the same page as you. That's kind of what I thought too. Now let's break down the segments of the market, and let's maybe take the downtown area. And what do you see happening in the downtown area?
I'm watching
Port Royal too.
Downtown area as a barometer right now. And let's talk about in terms of the geographical area that the Board of Realtors calls Naples Beach when they publish their statistics.
Right.
And let's talk about the single family homes there.
Okay.
And that's the zip codes of 34, 102, 103, and 108. So it takes you from Port Royal actually all the way up into the Naples Park area.
Okay.
And it's primarily the properties that are west of Goodlet and in some cases west of Airport. I watched with great interest from July of 2013 to July of 2014 when the median price for single family homes in that market sector increased 36%.
Wow.
That was stunning.
That was.
3% per month.
Right.
Amazing. Not since 2004 and 5 have we seen that kind of an increase in value. Interestingly enough, between July of 14 and July of 15, that median price has only increased by 2%. I think it's very obvious that we're seeing that market begin to stabilize in terms of value. And when we look at supply and demand numbers, the number of current listings as opposed to the number of sales in the last 12 months, those numbers are starting to be the same.
Okay. In inventory of new homes in that area, we touched base on this on our last show earlier in the year. What are you seeing with the new construction of the homes in that area?
Well, I think that we still have a lot of spec homes that exist in the market today, and not as many sales, and not the kind of absorption you might want in order to declare that a balanced submarket. And going forward, we're going to have to watch that. That market may have priced itself up a little too high. We may see some market corrections there necessary to get those properties sold. A little concerned that there may be some perception of a loss in value by some participants when in fact maybe the value was never there. So that's going to be interesting to watch.
Okay. Cindy, we're going to take a little short break and we're going to be back in 1 minute.
Selecting the right realtor is a critical decision that can earn you thousands when selling.
Jim sold our villa in just 2 days. We got the highest price in the community. He then helped us to negotiate and purchase our new home here in Tiburon. I'd recommend Jim. His expertise made all the difference.
Call Jim York for a no-obligation meeting at 239-273-6727 or visit his website, www.naplesyorkrealestate.com.
Welcome back. Cindy, let's continue with that conversation on how about what are you seeing in inventory levels in North Naples, and then maybe we can go out to the Golden Gate area.
I would say that comparing to 12 months ago, I think I'm seeing a little bit of a slowing in the market of almost all of the single-family home markets. I think that we were watching double-digit increases in median price 12 months ago. Some of that's slowing down now. Now I'm seeing median price increases maybe under 10%, 6, 7, 8%. And that's just this whole trend of stabilization in the single-family home market. Now, the further you move east in our communities, we still have shortages of inventory. We still have values going up pretty strongly. And under 300,000, you know, in that price range, that used to make up over 55% of all of our market. Today, it's 45%.
It's 45.
Because anything priced under 300,000 with a double-digit median price increase, say 24% annually,
Right.
it doesn't take it long to move up into the next price category.
Right.
And then we just don't have inventory coming in that price range. So we're still seeing strong increase there, and it's the lower price ranges in the single-family homes that's just evaporating. And for the most part, new construction is not building to fill that void.
No, they're
so
not, right.
it is that one price segment that's really going to persist at having a shortage of inventory and continue to try to move up in terms of value.
In the Golden Gate area, what is the average price out in the states out there?
Oh, goodness.
I mean, you know that market pretty well.
Well, that
The
can...
land, or even what can you buy a lot for out there now?
It depends on how far you go out.
Right.
And it depends on the condition of the land in terms of, is it a dry lot? Does
Right.
it have wetlands issues? Under $10,000 still for a piece of ground. The closer you come into town, the higher the numbers. If you look in the Livingston Woods area, you're talking $300,000 or so.
Right.
Logan Boulevard area,
Yeah.
same thing.
Right.
But the further you move east, the lower the price. But I'll tell you that at the bottom of the market in the eastern Golden Gate Estates, let's say off of Everglades Boulevard,
Right.
I looked at sales activity out there where properties were selling at about 7 cents on the dollar compared to their top of the market prices. Wow. So that's a huge area that is still in recovery mode.
That's right.
And will be so for a while. One plus is that lenders are starting to make construction loans again for individuals.
Yeah, they are.
So we're starting to see new construction cook up out there again, and that's great because it's appealing in a price point and lifestyle to lots of people.
Right. And then there's a company called the Minto Group.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So they've been a lot of press about them, about building a city out in east. So
Yes.
maybe you could just touch base on that a little bit for us.
I'll tell you, I have a horse, and I load the horse in the trailer, and I often drive out Oil Well Road
Right.
as you would head toward Ave Maria.
That's right.
And I head out by the Gargiulo farm fields because there's a nice wide farm road called Oil Well Road Grade. It's a north-south road, and it's a great place to ride your horse, and you can ride the berms around the farm fields. So I was traveling, a couple of weeks ago, I'm traveling out that way, and I get close to my destination, and here is this large sign on the edge of the farm field, and it says Rural Lands West. And there's nobody with me, but I said out loud, really? You know, really? And I thought, what does this mean? How am I going to interpret this? The fact that we're announcing a new, large, self-contained community
Right.
in that geographical location. And I thought, wow, there are professionals who have such faith in our market economy locally to believe that the timing is right to launch this new product in a concept that, except for Ave Maria, we really haven't seen before, and in a geographical location so removed from the coast.
Right.
And the coast has driven our values
That's
for
right.
100 years. And here's this new concept. So when I got home, I got on the web and I started reading about it, and it's very interesting in the goals and the plan and how it might change the complexion of that whole region of our county.
Yeah, I think I read that in 2018 they're going to have their first model up out there.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
I was just wondering, is the roads, the infrastructure okay to get out there?
Oil Well Road is great because improvements were made as part of the Ave
Ave
Maria's
Maria.
project and commitment. So that's a 4-lane, it's a great
Right.
4-lane road. Coming into town, you know, that takes you in and eventually gets you to Immokalee Road.
Right.
And of course, all the Immokalee Road improvements are finished now. And so the linkage is not bad. One of the things I began to wonder, and it will depend a lot on their price point, is buyers who have found their homes in Golden Gate, in the eastern Golden Gate Estates area, will this become an appealing alternative? But it'll depend on the price point, because there's some people who buy in Golden Gate Estates because it is affordable,
Right.
and yet the country living is not what's attracting them.
Right.
They may much prefer what we might consider a more typical conventional neighborhood.
Planned community.
Exactly. So that will be very interesting to see.
And I think I skipped over this, but we touched a little. I read in the paper today about the prices of condos outpacing the single-family homes, and I'm always, in a way, skeptical of how people arrive at the pricing, how things have increased. Maybe you could just touch base on that segment of the increases, because if people, if the market, if they're averaging the pricing and there's no $150,000 condos available, I think your average price is going to go up and it's automatically going to show an increase. True, or am I wrong on that? Or how would you look at it or explain it to our viewers?
I'm watching the condo market very closely right now, and I've been sticking my neck out and saying that I'm thinking the next 12 to 18 months will be all about condominiums as a result of the single-family home market stabilizing. Neighbor statistics are showing double-digit median price increase in almost every geographical area for
Right.
condominiums. And when we look at median price in these different geographical areas, which are structured by zip code, almost, I think there's 5 or 6 different communities identified. All except for one have a median price that's under $300,000. In the single-family home market, they're all above $300,000 now. So I think there may be a shift in interest to the condominium market, because you can still buy
Something, right.
under $200,000, and then there's a lot to choose from in the $200,000 to $300,000
Right.
price range. And I was just working on an assignment that's in the 34109 zip code, so that's kind of a North Naples.
Right.
And I went back to my resources to make sure I was up to speed on what that median price increase is, and it's 19%. And I was like, wow. Because if we went back and looked 12 months ago, it was not 19%. It might have been negligible. So I think maybe now we're seeing this shift toward the condominium market. Anyone who's listing condominiums needs to be very aware of that and go back to those statistics and understand that if you're looking for support from prior closed sales as you're formulating your asking price, if the market's been going up at 20% annually, you better be applying a market advancement rate to those sales that went under contract 6 months ago.
Okay, well, that's a good point. That's a good point. Cindy, we're going to take a little short break here, but when we come back, we're going to get a question from Michael that he's going to ask you. But we're talking to a lot of banks right now. One of the reasons Michael's going to ask you this question is we have a lot of new people moving in the area, but the banks are loosening up on financing for first-time home buyers.
Excellent.
So when we come back, I'd just like to answer Michael's question, and we'll be right back in 1 minute.
Thinking of buying or selling a home in Naples, Marco, Bonita, or Estero, Florida? Think of the most experienced York Real Estate Group associated with the #1 brokerage in Naples, Downing Fry Realty, which produced $1.9 billion in sales in 2014, controlling 43% of all transactions in Naples. Jim, Michael, and Morgan York make up the York Real Estate Group of Downing Fry Realty. With over $250 million in sales transactions, they can offer you the expertise and trust you want and need in a realtor. Call them today at 239-273-6727 or visit their website, www.naplesyorkrealestate.com.
Cindy, with so many young professionals trying to move to Southwest Florida, what area would you suggest they start their home search in?
I think that's an excellent question, and I think that's one of the greatest challenges facing Collier County is how are we going to keep our young professionals here in town? It's not a new problem. It's as old as the days. So I've got some thoughts about that. Of course, we know that Golden Gate Estates, Eastern Golden Gate Estates, still offers housing that can be bought for under $300,000, but that's a long drive into town, and that sort of country living is not for everyone.
No, it isn't.
So I like this opportunity to mention an area of town that I think is often overlooked, maligned, and yet the geographical positioning of this neighborhood is unmatched, and that's the Bayshore Drive area. And there's a community redevelopment overlay. It's been in place for quite some time, and the county's working very hard to bring a sea change in that neighborhood, and it's happening. You might not know it unless you visit the area and drives down some of the streets off of Bayshore. What's remarkable is that there's quite a bit of new construction going on in that neighborhood, and the type of new construction, the homes that are being built, have a cottage look about them.
Oh, good.
Blends into the neighborhood. The Bayshore Drive zoning overlay allows for some flexibility in zoning. There are pockets that allow what's called live-work, which means that you can buy this residence in that zoning district, live in the home, and also operate your business out of the home. If you were an architect, for instance, you could be an attorney and have your home office there. There's a variety of services that will work in that zoning classification. There is a builder working in that area that is building for $100 a square foot. I've seen his home. It's beautiful. And so there are also some young real estate professionals that are very encouraged and working very hard to bring about this change as they see that geographical area offering in town living for young professionals at an affordable price. And so that, I think, is an area that needs to be really given a look and strong consideration. And it would do well for real estate agents who have not familiarized themselves with the changes taking place. Go down and have a look at what's happening.
Yeah, I think that's, you brought up a really good point for us. I know I've been talking to some local banks here, and they're offering a first-time home program for 3.5–4% down.
Excellent, yeah.
So with no PMI.
Right.
With no PMI. So
outstanding.
You know, this could be a great opportunity maybe for a young professional or two young professionals to buy a home and in-town living. So I'm really happy that you brought this to our viewers here.
Good.
So, well, Cindy, again, I thank you for coming and respect you, and
thank you.
Hope you'll come back and give us an update during the next quarter, okay?
I look forward to it.
Thank you.